Images on your screen are of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the residence of Dr. Manmohan Singh. We'll stay with these images for a few more moments. The Prime Minister paying his respects. The mortal remains of the late Prime Minister draped in the national colours in the Tiranga. The Prime Minister meeting the widow of the late Prime Minister Manmohan Singh over there. We saw Amit Shah, the Home Minister, also present along with the Prime Minister. You can see Amit Shah over there, also JP Nadda, several leaders across political lines, a real sign of the respect that Manmohan Singh enjoyed. I'm joined now by my colleague Vasudha Venugopal. She's at the Congress headquarters. Give us a sense, Vasudha, of what's happening around you. Just a few moments back, we had the Prime Minister at the residence of Manmohan Singh. What's happening at the Congress office?
Well, Vishnu, I come to you from the Congress office, and this is a party that made Dr. Manmohan Singh Prime Minister for 2 terms. But we all know that his accomplishments are not completely because of the Congress party. He was, brought in when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. In fact, P.N. Aksar also sort of ensured that he remained in the system. His accomplishments overshone that of his detractors, his opponents, and he was a technocrat, somebody who has been in several, public positions. Like you rightly said, the governor of RBI, the deputy chairperson of Planning Commission, also the head of the University Grants Commission. So clearly somebody who was extremely accomplished and someone who came from humble beginnings, not someone who came from an elite background, which also made it impossible for the BJP to, attack him on those fronts. And also he was different from someone like, say, Dr. Pranab Mukherjee, that the BJP often sort of wooed and flirted with. Dr. Manmohan Singh made his public and political positioning very clear, and what I understand is that his mortal remains will be brought to the Congress office only tomorrow, because the family is waiting for one of his daughters to arrive in India, which is going to happen late tonight. And of course, tomorrow is when his body will be brought to the Congress office, and this is the party where there was a lot of, seat sharing, of course, a position and responsibility sharing between Sonia Gandhi as chairperson of UPA and also the chairperson of NAC, and Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister was done. But it was Manmohan Singh's personality that often led the BJP to attack him as a weak Prime Minister, as someone who was spineless. And Dr. Singh always took that in his stride, and he said that history will be kinder to him. And I think that was in some ways very prophetic, because today we do talk about the importance of the liberalization reforms that he introduced in 1991, the importance of the US deal that he clinched, and also several other legislations that he passed, including the Rural Health Mission or Manrega, Rural Employment Generation Scheme, which now has become one of the benchmarks for how employment could be guaranteed, and also something like the RTI and the RTE and the Unique Identification Authority, which produces Aadhaar, which has become a national identity of sorts. So clearly, Manmohan Singh leaves behind a very important, legacy imprint on not just on our economic policies, but also on our foreign policy, and also several aspects of governance. All of that is going to come to fore today, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called him one of the most distinguished leaders of India. He has appreciated his role as a parliamentarian. Remember, he remained an MP for 33 years, always taking the Rajya Sabha route after losing that South Delhi election in 1999. He was criticized for his for leading the country, during UPA's second term, when the country was shaken by several corruption scandals. But other than that, his demeanor, his non-confrontational attitude, his own accomplishments overshone all of that. And in his own words, history will be kinder to him. And today, in this whole weather, which is marked by cold and rain fury, I think the nature is also trying to make this day, the final day of goodbye to him, in some ways quite memorable.
Vasudha, let's talk a little bit about the fact that Dr. Manmohan Singh was always a reluctant politician. He was much more interested in getting the job done, in implementing policy and driving policy. But politics, even within the Congress party, was something that never really worked for him. And yet it was Sonia Gandhi who propelled him into the Prime Minister's post again. I remember being in the studio when the talk was that Sonia Gandhi would be the Prime Minister of the country. The announcement was about to happen, and then it was Manmohan Singh. So tell us about that facade of the late Prime Minister.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Vishnu. We knew that Sonia Gandhi was the chairperson of the NAC. She was also the chairperson of the UPA, and there were very important leaders like Pranab Mukherjee, Ahmed Patel that worked alongside her. And Pranab Mukherjee was the finance minister when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the RBI governor from 1982 to 1985. But when he became the prime minister, it was Dr. Pranab Mukherjee who became his finance minister. And Dr. Manmohan Singh used to call him sir all the time till he was asked not to do that by Mr. Dr. Mukherjee himself. So clearly, there were several egos at play there, and we know that what happened during nuclear deal was also fascinating because Sonia Gandhi was seen as someone who was, earlier in favor of that, and of course there was also a lot of pressure from the opposition. The left parties were very powerful then, but that was one unique, highlight of Dr. Manmohan Singh's career, where he managed to get Samajwadi Party on his side and did not let the government fall, and in some ways took the criticism of the left also in his stride, because some way he believed that it was important for India to show itself as a responsible nuclear weapons state, and clinching a deal with the United States of America at a time when the world was so unipolar was also remarkable in some ways. Strengthening relations with the United States of America was also in some ways important in setting the stage for the kind of relations we have with the West today. So he was an accidental prime minister. He knew his strengths, but he also was aware of his weaknesses. He did not get into a lot of confrontation or political maneuvering. The only struggling challenge for him was when the ordinance that his government had passed with regard to disqualification of MPs who were found, guilty by courts and were imprisoned for more than 2 years, sentenced to imprisonment for more than 2 years. It was Rahul Gandhi who tore that ordinance in a press conference. He later on subsequently said that Rahul Gandhi had apologized to him, which is why he did not resign. But Vishnu, his personality was also in many ways one of the main fodder for the BJP's campaign in 2014, because he was seen as a weak and a spineless prime minister then. Of course, all of us in some ways know that that was just a political point, because that is why the prime minister also made it a point to call him one of the most accomplished leaders of independent India. And while he could have been an accidental prime minister, his legacy leaves a very strong imprint on our economic policies and also several aspects of governance.